says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So we talk about preparing our children for the world. There are two people that are held accountable for that. That's the parents and that's the children. This says train up a child. When you train, you're actually giving someone specific instructions, specific guidelines to follow through in life. And if you train them for so long, it becomes automatic. It becomes second nature. They don't even think about it, they just do it. Because you train them up the right way, and you've done it from since they was this high, all the way up till they get grown. And then when you see your kid get out of line, you go ahead and chop that weed down. How many of y'all had to chop that weed down?
Amen. Chop.
Because if you chop it down when they're young, you ain't got to worry about it when they get old. So now, let's go ahead and move on to our next page. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your children accountable. And it says each day you are leading by example. Whether you realize it or not, or whether it's positive or negative, you are influencing your children each and every day. So that's why it's so important for us as parents to understand every little thing I do, my kids are looking and they're paying attention to it. The things that I do and the things that I don't do. A lot of times we focus on the things that we do, but we often don't focus on things that we don't do. What are we not showing our children? What are we not providing to them? What are we not letting them see? Now, if you look at this chair right here, it's a three-legged chair. And like I always tell people, my daddy taught me, my father taught me, structure, accountability, and responsibility. He said it's like a three-legged chair. If you remove any one of those legs, what's going to happen to that chair? It's going to fall. So let's dive even deeper. Let's take a look at structure. Boundaries are basically about providing structure. And structure is essential in building anything that thrives. By Henry Cloud. So if you look on the left-hand side, and Jordan, if you can change it to the next slide. If you look on the left-hand side, you see a house, but if you look at the house has a stable foundation. That means the bottom up is actually correct, it's built correct. That means if you look at that foundation, it's strong, it's sturdy, it's solid. It's on solid ground, it's not rocky. It's going to be very difficult or hard to move. But now let's look at the right side. It says unstable foundation. Can one person tell me one thing they noticed about the house on the right side, about the foundation on the right side? Can one person give me one word that they think of, that comes to mind?
Unstable.
Cracked. I hear unstable. Can I get another word? I heard broken. Cracked, unstable, broken. Let's flip to that next slide. Next page. So now, in our community, for some reason, we talk about cracked, unstable, we talk about broken, but there are some things that are broken in our community because we tend to glorify certain types of mentality, certain types of mindsets. If you notice, it says, get it out the mud. That's a destructive mentality. And in our community, you hear people, I had to get it out the mud, I had to get out the mud. To be honest, that's a slap in the face to your parents or to whoever raised you. Because that's basically saying that whoever raised you did not teach you anything, they did not show you anything, they did not put any food in your mouth, clothes on your back, they did not do anything for you. They didn't provide any structural support. That's a slap in the face to whoever raised you. So it's one or two things going on. You're either saying that your parents didn't give you anything, or that you just wasn't paying attention. Now we all know that we got one or two in the family. They all of them came from a good house, good structure, good foundation. But it's always that one in the family that chose not to listen. They chose to go their own path. And then they holler about they had to get it out the mud. How many of y'all know some folks that stay in the suburbs or living good, grew up living good, but holler about they had to get it out the mud? Come on now. Stop lying. So why would you want to glorify such a mentality? So let's look at it. Let's fast forward, let's look at our community. 1970, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020. How has this get it out the mud mentality benefited our community? And then we look at our kids. We have our kids adopting that same mentality. I had to get it out the mud. So it means you chose to choose struggle over listening to your parents, your family members, your loved ones, your church members, all these other positive influences, you chose to turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to that. Get it out the mud mentality. And how's that helping the community? What does that bottom picture show you below the picture of the young man running with money? What do y'all see? You see destruction. You see chaos. What part of that formula leads to positivity and constructive criticism and constructive nature with kids? None of that. So when we talk about helping our kids, training our kids, raising our kids, that's a mentality that we literally have to beat out of our kids if necessary. Back in the day, they called it good parents, and now somebody call it child abuse or whatnot. I don't know, I think it's going to be that. Let's go to our next page. So now let's look at that fertile soil, constructive mentality. And I'll tell y'all a story, man. I was in school and I went to Southwest. And one of the guys I played ball with, he was trying to jawn on me. He said, yeah, shoot, man, you got mom and daddy at home, shoot. You ain't got nothing to worry about. He almost said it in like a negative way, like it was a bad thing. And I remember telling him, at what point am I supposed to be ashamed by having a two-parent home? Having a mom and daddy at the house, showing me right from wrong, telling me I don't need to do this, do that. Actually leading by example. At what point should I be ashamed? And when I said it to him, he just kind of backed off because he saw how much conviction I had. I don't know if y'all know, but I can be aggressive at times. Especially when I'm strongly convicted about something. I can be quiet, but when you touch that nerve, what are we doing? So he backed off. I said, at what point? And I'm walking closer to him, proximity control. You gotta walk close to him, you gotta get up on him, let him see your eyes, let him look in your face. He started backing off. Nah, man, I was just saying, you know what I'm saying, everybody ain't got that. I said, nah, you was trying to call me out. But since I was so strong on my word and I called you behind, now you backing off. How many of y'all have situations like that happen to you before? So now let's take a look. That fertile soil constructive mentality. If parents are doing their job and if kids are listening to their parents, shouldn't the kids have some nutrients in the soil? Shouldn't there be some nutrients, some fertile soil? There should be some phosphorus, there should be some nitrogen. There should be some things in the soil helping those kids grow. So they don't have to worry about getting it out the mud. I'm gonna explain something to you. If every generation has to get it out the mud, how do we build generational wealth? It is impossible. Because every generation has to keep starting from here. At what point is that mindset beneficial? So you see these two kids, they're planting a flower, and I'm thankful for my parents. I did not have to get it out the mud. I repeat myself for the people that think that's a shame. I did not have to get it out the mud. We started off growing up in the projects, and then we moved into a house. And then my parents, they didn't just drop me off the practice, they stayed at practice with me. At what point am I supposed to be ashamed about that? When I had football games, wrestling matches, baseball games, they was there. Up, down, left, right. When I was getting my butt tore up in wrestling, my daddy said, now even the carnival in your matches, get your butt in there. You better start winning some matches, boy. Hey, guess what I started doing? Winning some matches. So I think about the fertile soil, and then if you're planting your children in fertile soil, look at the picture at the bottom. This is something that we've gotten so far away from that it's almost, people look at this as this is a bad thing. Right now. Seeing a man and a woman together raising children. Yes. At what point in our society did they become a bad thing? And I can't even say our society, let's keep it real. At what point in our culture did they become a bad thing? You got people that glorify the separation of man and woman. I'm a science person. Let me explain this to you. XX is a female, XY is a male. When you separate males and females, you're not able to procreate. I don't care how much a man and a man want to get together, they're not going to create a child. I don't care how much a woman and a woman want to get together, they're not going to create a child. It takes a man and a woman to procreate to bring a child into the world. So now, if you look at the times, can I say it though? If you look at the times, we have more destructive mentalities that are separating our sexes, male and female. And if you look at that, that does not help a community grow. That destroys the community. That is called self-extinction. Do you know what extinction means? That means to die out, to go away. You no longer live, you no longer survive. And we are allowing people to exterminate us through our mind, through our mentality. Let me go on.